Imagine growing up in one of the greatest empires the world has ever known, ancient Rome. For a Roman child, the experience was a study in contrasts, dictated almost entirely by the luck of their birth. From the towering stone walls of a patrician villa to the crowded, creaking timbers of a city insula, childhood was drastically different for the rich and the poor, shaping their daily routines and determining their futures. For the children of the wealthy, life began with relative comfort and ceremony. They lived in spacious homes, a city domus or a country villa, surrounded by slaves and servants who catered to their needs. From an early age, their lives were a focused preparation for their future elite roles. Education was paramount. Boys from affluent families were often taught at home by a tutor, frequently a highly educated Greek slave, or they attended small private schools. Their studies extended well beyond basic literacy and numeracy, progressing to grammar school to learn Latin, Greek, literature, and rhetoric. The ultimate goal was to prepare them for public life, law, and politics. Girls' education was typically more limited, focusing on reading, writing, and arithmetic, alongside domestic skills to prepare them for managing a wealthy household. When it came to play, rich children enjoyed more elaborate toys, like dolls with jointed limbs, hobby horses, or even small carts pulled by goats. A wealthy Roman boy was groomed to follow in his father's footsteps, inheriting his fortune and becoming a citizen, soldier, or politician. At around age 14, he would transition to adult life, trading his child's protective locket bola and simple toga for the white toga of a citizen. His future was one of influence and power. A wealthy girl's ultimate prospect was a strategic marriage in her early to mid-teens, which solidified her family's social and economic standing. The children of the plebeians, the common people, had a starkly different reality. They often lived in cramped, poorly constructed apartment buildings, called Insulae, which were often fire hazards and lacked basic sanitation, like running water. The need for income meant that school was a luxury poor children rarely experienced. Formal education required tuition, and their families simply needed them to contribute. Children from poor families often started working at a very young age, sometimes as early as 4 or 5. In mines, workshops, or on the family's farm or small business. For many, work was their education, learned through practical apprenticeship with their fathers or a craftsman. Their diet was simple, consisting mainly of porridge, bread, vegetables, and, if they were lucky, cheap fish or a small amount of meat. Playtime was simple, involving games like knucklebones, similar to jacks, using animal bones or makeshift toys. Life for poor children was a hard, short training period for a life of grueling labor. Their future prospects were severely limited by their birth. Boys typically continued in their father's trade, becoming farmers, laborers, or craftsmen. A position in the Roman army was sometimes a coveted, though dangerous, path for social mobility, offering a regular wage and the possibility of land upon service completion. Like their rich counterparts, poor girls were expected to marry young, typically in their early teens, and become mothers and household managers, albeit in much more meager conditions. Desperation could sometimes lead families to the unthinkable, abandoning unwanted newborns or even selling their own children into slavery to survive. Despite the massive social divide, all Roman children shared a few realities. Infant mortality was tragically high across all classes. Ultimate authority in every family rested with the paterfamilias, the oldest male head of the household, who held absolute legal power over his children. All Romans, rich and poor, participated in religious festivals, and during the empire, even the poorest citizens could attend the great spectacles, the gladiator fights and chariot races, which were often free. Childhood in ancient Rome was a journey defined by duty and hierarchy. Whether they were studying philosophy under a Greek tutor or sweating in a workshop before the sun rose, the life of every child was dedicated to preparing them for their fixed place in the unyielding structure of the Roman world. Thank you for watching. If you found this interesting and enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We have new videos every day for everyone who was created to be curious.